programme for the year is going to be impressive, I think,
Unreal.
Very excited about it. Excited to get into like a place that has loads of history like that, but there's just the way it's been done now, it feels new. When you go in there, it's going to feel different. It's going to look great. It's going to, like, the sound is probably number one thing we're doing at the moment. Like, the sound is going to be impeccable. We always kind of go for the wow factor. So we want people to walk in there and go, wow.
Hello and welcome to Conversations with Cornelius. I'm a comedian. This podcast is about my life, my wife, my likes and dislikes, hurling, football, movies, sex, drugs and rock and roll without the sex, drugs and rock and roll. There are going to be special guests and always regular contributors, but mostly it's going to be me and my main squeeze, the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Cornelius. I am your host, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan. We are in the Fearless Digital Network studios in an undisclosed area of Cork. You can't find out, you won't find out, don't try. We have an amazing show for you today. Honest to God. Two guests, not one guest, two guests. But before we get into that, I have to do a little bit of due diligence. The Patreon is what I'm going to start off with. I have a Patreon. There's a link in the bio. It's €5. Get on it. Me and my wife every day talking about, well, not every day, once a week. Every day it'd be definitely more than a £5 if it was every day. Once a week for a £5. Price of a pint. Get a pint and listen to us for a tenner. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not. Look, just do it. Two things then after that. I have two shows coming up. I'm in the INEC on February the 13th and I'm in the Cork Opera House on February the 14th. Tickets are nearly gone for both of those shows on my website, corneliuspatrickosullivan.com. If you want to go, I'd love to see you there. Please, if you're just even an individual person, I would actually love you to go because there's about 12 or 13 single seats left downstairs in the Cork Opera House and my OCD is not dealing with that. So if you could sort that out, please, I'd appreciate it. What else? Everything's going great. The only thing now at the moment that I'm finding difficult is I'm up really late at the moment. 3:30 I went to bed last night. I was on ChatGPT and playing Pot Limit Omaha, right? 4 multi-tables going and I was playing till 3:30 and do you know how much I won? $6. What the fuck is $6? Do you know what I mean? Like I was up to 3:30. But anyway, like, share and subscribe. Follow the Fearless Digital Network Studios. Follow my Instagram, Cornelius the Comic, and the Instagram for this particular podcast, Conversations with Cornelius. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to bring on today's guests? I'll take that as a yes. I have a little bit of a bio here for them, guys. Today's guests are well known to me and are probably well known to you. Even if you don't recognise their facial structures or their audible articulation, if you have ever attended an epic summer festival in Cork, potentially something along the lines of It Takes a Village, you may have spotted one of these fine creatures. Or if you caught a show in the past in the Kino or in the City Hall, or if you happened to meander into the Cork Podcast Festival, or if you were back in the day in the Bodega or the Pav, one of these gentlemen ran that place once upon a time, believe it or not, you might have seen these guys. Now, they are about to embark on a new and huge, exciting journey. The Savoy. Do you know the Savoy? Are you familiar with the Savoy? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you've guessed it. All the way from the Good Room headquarters to my absolute joy, please put your hands together for the amazing Mr. Joe Kelly and Ed O'Leary. And the crowd goes wild.
Great intro, Corny. Great intro.
I'm delighted to have you. I'm absolutely delighted to have you.
Lovely to be here. Great to be here, yeah. Salubrious.
Salubrious. Beautiful word. That's your first word now, and that is you're fucked from here on in.
Downhill from here, yeah.
Beautiful. I found out last week, I rang Joe when I saw the news, and we're going to get into the whole carry on now with the Savoy in a minute, but I was straight away, I was like, I know who's there. I know who's done that.
You said the same,
yeah, straight away. So congratulations on that.
Thanks very much.
That's absolutely epic. I haven't seen you in ages. What's the crack?
The crack is busy. Great though. Very good. Very excited. Yeah. I mean, looking forward to it. It's next chapter for us, really, you know. Yeah. And it's just very exciting, but busy, very busy as well.
Very busy, and the opening night's Valentine's night, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah,
all about love.
Yeah, clashing with a bit of a gig that's going on in the Cork Opera House on the same night, though.
You could go to both.
You could. You'd probably have time.
Could you go to both? That was my next question.
There was room.
Yeah.
There is definitely room, like, because you're kind of. What time are you finishing up?
Well, we'd be finished probably 12:30, but we're still figuring out. There's going to be certain tickets on the door, there's going to be certain tickets online, and then, there'll be some guests because it's kind of more or less the opening night. So it's trying to be as fair as possible. Yeah. But encouraging people to come earlier rather than later, you have more chance of getting in,
Yeah.
So, but it is, as Ed said, it is exciting. It is great. I mean, I worked in that building from 2000 to 2002. But I mean, in its history since 1932, it's where the film festival started, and it was the home of that for years. Count John McCormack, who was big in the 30s, he was, but really, he was one of Ireland's first international rock stars as an opera singer kind of thing. Tenor. Geez, I don't know what he was. But he was
fiver, I think, to get in. I think back then.
And then, you go all the way to the Rolling Stones played in the 60s, the Bee Gees, Rory Gallagher.
Damon Albarn.
And then, even the 80s, to me, the best one is the Smiths played there twice, you know what I mean? And that and you New Order played there. And then you go up into Wu-Tang Clan, Grandmaster Flash, Run DMC. So, being honest with you, the building in itself, and I worked in Henry's back in the day, and I've always felt that there's, spirits inhabit buildings, old buildings.
Yeah.
And you can feel it, in St. Luke's.
Absolutely,
we've been doing gigs for years. You can feel that tens of thousands of people have gone through a building and they leave something there. Yeah. So, weirdly, even though the Savoy that we're doing, the first version will be a good bit smaller than it's 600, while back in the day it was 1,200. Still, it's it's 2 rooms, and you come in from the back streets now, not Patrick Street, which personally I think is better.
No, it's cool. It's quite different. Different. People are going to be surprised, I'd say.
I can't wait to see it. And I do have a few questions on it, but I actually have a kind of a more important question really to start is, what did you have, we'll say, for breakfast this morning, Ed?
I generally wouldn't have breakfast.
At all?
A cup of coffee. No, I eat about 12 now. Been doing that for a good few years, just got into the habit.
And what time do you finish eating?
That could be before I fall asleep. When I fall asleep.
Yeah. So there's no window or anything like that. It's just
I just go from 12 now. It depends how busy I am. I forget to eat half the time.
Yeah.
So I forget to eat.
I fucking forgot to eat.
No, I'm a demon for it. Yeah, I'd be forgetting to eat all the time.
So you're just a coffee in the morning guy.
Coffee, a good few coffees in the morning, till about 12, and then I'll usually have a decent lunch at 12, and then probably won't eat again till for dinner. And then would be snacking all the way till I'd probably fall asleep. Bedside snacks,
And you're in your industry, obviously same here now. We're up late at night all the time, what time are you going to bed?
Depends. I mean, look, if we have a show, we're at a show. I mean, St. Luke's is good because you finish, the curfew is 10:30. We're in a residential area, so you could be, the latest you're probably getting out of there at midnight if it's a big load out.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say I'm getting out of there most of the time. Joe's probably there a hell of a lot more than I am.
If it was a big band, it might be 12:30, but it's reasonable. Ironically, when we were looking at the Savoy time-wise, we're starting and we're opening till 12:30. Out by 1.
Pub hours,
we're staying with pub hours, and we're going. I genuinely think, over the years, I think post-COVID, I call it the sliding scale of, look, you probably go to a venue for 4 hours, right? Even when I worked in Henry's, lots of good places over the years. Half Moon when there was 2 rooms. Certain clubs over the you kind of go, there's a point where you kind of say that, look, if you provide that we're open doors at 8 o'clock on a Saturday or whatever, we're going, let's go with this and see where we go. There's points in the year where there's general exemptions in the city. We will consider opening late. But equally, we did have to be aware that, both Ed and myself, have kids and stuff. And
work-life balance.
And
trying to hang on to that, really.
And as well, genuinely, I think, I remember when I worked there in 2000, and you'd be clearing the building by 3 o'clock, right? You were getting home at 5 o'clock.
No, it's awful.
It's
no life.
Yeah, and it's no crack for staff actually. Either.
No, it's not. And you go through a lot of staff then, I'd imagine.
You would, I'd say. People burn out at those kind of hours, because...
Yeah. Yeah. What do you have for breakfast?
Fruit and fibre in Galway.
Fruit and fibre. Yeah.
Lovely.
And was that the only thing on offer? Is that what would you eat fruit and fibre every day? Is that a...
No, not. I'd be like Ed sometimes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if I have a coffee first,
Yeah.
I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
But if I try to, have brown bread or something, it's probably a good thing you should do. That's not that I do it all the time.
Yeah. No, because I get it as well, because I'm the same. Like, I'm eating at night, late at night, all the time.
Late,
When you're out, you're working.
Snacks, like.
Snacks.
Weekdays now I'm talking. I'd be in bed early enough weekdays. So
Would
I'd be sitting there snacking away. Like,
you're healthy as well, I see. Like, when I was talking to you before the podcast, you're a good man for the environment and for cycling around the place.
do you like the cycling, all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you cycle here?
No, I didn't cycle here now. Not but I cycled home from
This is
music
far,
before
far
here.
away.
We don't know. Would you
Where
cycle
are
the
we?
40 miles
No,
to the studio?
I've cycled here plenty of
Yeah.
times though. Like.
Yeah.
It's over to Toker, or over to work, or up to the cafe or something
Yeah.
from home. No problem. Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
And there's a stretch in the evening.
Grand
a stretch in the
yeah,
evening.
it's good.
Fantastic.
Move in a small bit to your mics if you don't mind.
Oh, sure, absolutely, no problem.
We're going to play a game now, guys, called, it's a very famous, popular game. It's called Trending Topics with Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan.
Sounds great, yeah.
I have the remix.
The aim is to make the guest kind of go, oh, fuck it, how good is this going to stop? I could see that in both your eyes there when I did that, which is great. There are just 3 topics. The first one that's trending that I saw today is Met Éireann. Discuss Met Éireann, Joe. Do you have any issues with Met Éireann?
No, but apparently up in Dublin, 30,000 houses were knocked out with storm. I was in Galway last night and I was like, and then I drove to Cork today and I was like, did something go on? Because I didn't seem to.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Met Éireann.
But you know what? It's funny you should say that, right? And I was thinking about it. I was on the car on the way up here today and I was listening to the news and I was like, they're making such a fucking hoo-ha about this because it's in Dublin. Do you know?
I didn't even hear.
There's Storm Chowder or something. Or
Chandra.
Chandra.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
That was the Chrome and Carpets club in the Grand Parade complex. So he's had Sir Henry's, but Chandra's was.
Chandra.
So it's embedded in my
Never heard
head.
of that.
Yeah, so
That's
Chandra's.
Never heard the name before, but I think Wexford has been affected a small bit as well. But
Wow.
yeah, but like they are making a huge deal about
Inside
it.
the pale, basically. Is it?
Basically, yeah. Where that's where Ireland exists.
Yeah.
I knew there was flooding, all right.
Yeah.
Because Keelan, I was on the phone to Keelan, who works for us, the third wheel in the wheel, the third cog in the wheel. Shout out to Keelan. But he was saying, floods everywhere in Dublin. I was like, oh god, jeez, it's awful. It was manky in Cork still.
Yeah.
But
It's always
Not that
sunny
bad,
in Cork, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
Philadelphia. Hashtag Abraham Lincoln.
What's going on with Abraham?
So what
only from what you told me earlier, that's the first I heard of it.
what would you? Okay, so Joe, Abraham Lincoln. What's that bring to your head? If someone said to you, discuss Abraham Lincoln, give me 3 sentences.
I don't know, assassinated president, wasn't he?
He was an assassin.
Yeah.
Tall top hat.
And I don't know why. I've literally never read up about American history. And you
John Wilkes Booth shot him, wasn't it?
I knew he was Booth.
In a
but
theatre, was it like watching an opera or something? Or watching something?
Why did he shoot him?
I don't think he liked him.
Assassination, like, I don't know, who knows? CIA. Inside job. Didn't like him.
Do you know why it's trending? I told Ed earlier on, I looked at this as well because I was like, exactly what you had said.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Abraham Lincoln trending for? It's a warship owned by America, currently on its way to the outskirts of Iran. And like, I don't know if I'm breaking this. This podcast is coming out on Monday next week. We could be at World War III next week.
For God's sake.
Do you know what I mean? Apparently, this is what's going on. Now, because the besieged people of Iran are being, crushed by the government, but you could also, I think you could also flip that around to what's happening in America at the moment. The besieged people of America are being shot down.
It's
American
bonkers.
police.
Oh, it's
crazy,
bonkers that it's imperialism. On the your man down in Venezuela taking him out. You're just like, wow. I stand back aghast going, for him to be in power, the Republicans, half the elected lot are that power hungry that they will let this man do. I'm not saying, it was all nice. There's probably certain points he's made that if American was playing the significant NATO budget, maybe Europe should be paying their amount, whatever. There's certain things that you can say, but he seems a lunatic,
I think there's no doubt in anyone's mind that he's an absolute fucking lunatic, excuse my language. I just can't understand how we've got to the stage that he's in charge of the free world, and making all these decisions for war in Greenland and Venezuela, all these things. No, I think the people in Venezuela were having a tough time, to be honest. There's a friend of mine who's from Venezuela, and I think the general consensus on the ground there is that this is a good thing. Yeah. But I think long term it probably won't be a good thing, but remains to be seen. See what I see? That's Abraham Lincoln there now.
There you go. Okay.
See, that's how we go. That's how it goes. Hashtag BAFTA. Now I know fuck all about BAFTAs. You guys are...
we're
definitely
British actor, television.
I have no idea. I heard Hamnet got more nominations again. Yeah.
I thought, is it Hamnet?
I think Hamnet. Yeah. I keep hearing Hamlet. Obviously,
no, it's not.
I'm more inclined to go to it now that it's not Hamlet.
Hamlet.
No, I haven't seen it, and I wouldn't be into in any way period dramas or anything. I hate that kind of stuff. But equally, I'm apparently Jessie Buckley's performance is meant to be out of this world. Yeah. When you hear people saying they'll be talking about this in 20 years. Now, that could be just hype. But equally, obviously, she's very good. Obviously, a really talented girl. You think about it, she first came to prominence, which I'd kind of forgotten about. And then it was she was the girl that was on that Andrew Lloyd Webber, you know, a kind of musicals. You get picked and they built a musical.
Like pop stars for...
Kind of for musical theatre. And she came second in that. And then from that, she went to RADA and blah, 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 and she's worked it but
20 years to be an overnight success. She's been at it since she's been a teenager. All over Ireland, her parents driving her up and down and in and out. And your man, the other fella, is in it as well. The other Mescal, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He played for Kildare.
I did. I knew that.
And apparently he was great. He was captain of the under-20s or 21s, whatever, under-18s. Apparently a really good footballer. And could have made it, but something broke his leg and then had to make a decision. Do I go with this acting lark or do I, follow the football as well?
Yeah.
And he gave up then. And
it's, I don't know what I'd pick. What would you pick, acting or football, if you had the choice?
Definitely acting, not football for me.
Did you ever do any bit of acting or music? I know you're producers, but had you ever done anything like that?
No, definitely not. No, I mean, played loads of different instruments, a tiny little bit of loads of different things, a very short attention span, much happier to be behind the scenes always. Don't really making speeches or anything.
No, but you were DJing for years.
DJing for years, but just a bit of fun,
I often wondered about that growing up, DJing. Did you have your own albums, or so? Did you have to I know it's different now, but going back in the old days, did you have to bring in your own albums and play them every week?
Records. Records. Yeah, that's it. And then CDs and whatever, and then just eventually a laptop, laptop and a mixer.
And you were just this is my set. I'm just going to play this.
Yeah, it depends. I used to do. There's a few years, in the 20s, when I was living in Kinsale, and the Market Bar, small back in Greyhound, and it was just a square. And I remember DJing for a friend's birthday, playing loads of reggae and whatever. It was fun, party tunes, good, nothing too chin strokey, just very upbeat party tunes. But I would have made a set for that, you kind of go through sounds. Play this, play that. Have a return to your list if you're kind of not hitting the right note. So, and then a few just a couple of bars down in Killarney and stuff, the odd once a month, but nothing major.
Nothing major.
No.
What about yourself, Judge? Did you ever in front of stage? I know.
Yes.
You've DJed loads.
Brilliant. Tell me more. And why aren't you doing it anymore?
I'm too old.
You're too old.
No, basically, when I came to UCC, there was a fella in where I met called Jerry Ryan, a guy from Limerick, and he had a synthesizer. It's like, whoa! And like, I had a bass, and it was like, so we started a band in college called Knee High Loves the Grasshopper. And you'll be delighted to hear, Cornelius, that I came third in the Machra na Firma UCC song contest.
Well, that has made my night now. That has made my night.
And the brilliant thing was, it was one of those first things where you realise, wow, there's money in this. I think it was something like, for coming third, the songwriter got £80, which was fortunes back then. Yeah. And then because we were a band and we came, third, that was the songwriting bit. And I think we got about 40 or 50 quid a man, and that was like, that'd be like getting £1,000 now, or you know what I mean? There was loads, so I was doing that for the year or two in Cork, like we played 5 or 6 gigs, we weren't very good, being honest with you. But at the same time, I was in a boarding school and in Dublin, and there was this priest called Father Jack Harris, and he had taught Jerry Ryan and a number of DJs in Dublin, because there were Vincentians, and he showed them how to DJ. So in a shed in the school, we had this kind of community radio, right? So my first radio show in 1987 was called Sham Rock, and I played, but it was cool. Like there was 2 Technics 1210s, a mixer, and like all of a sudden, this 1987, I knew, you put one record here, you queue up the next record, all that. And then when I came to Cork, I rented out Henry's in February 1989, and we did a night, and I DJ'd at it, and that's how I started, so...
Did you end up doing? Did you get a regular stint in Henry's after that, or was that just the one?
Well, no, that was '89, and then I did about 3, 4, 5 of that. That was the Blah Blah Go Go Club, and
how many clubs were in Cork back then?
There was 17 nightclub buildings, right? And I reckon there was things like the club, even though it was slightly later, but like you hear the club and the keg and the grape. What was it? The FX, was it? Or
FX,
and
the keg. Yeah.
That complex. Yeah. But there was a nightclub back there in the 80s as well. It's funny, we're around the back of the Savoy, and there's Bakestone, and I DJ'd in this tiny little club in there back in 1991 called Malibu's.
I fucking know Malibu's.
And then Malibu was down where the FX was then.
Yeah.
That was called Malibu afterwards. That's right. Then. Yeah. Nothing to do with the other one.
There was nothing better back in the day than 11 o'clock with 3 or 4 of your buddies, half pissed, walking into a kind of a dry ice, sticky floored nightclub.
Smell of fags.
Fags all over the place. Some sort of thing, drum and bass thing, banging,
whatever.
And you're just out on the D floor because you've enough gat in you, and you're like, do you ever see that thing at the moment where there's what is it, John Hamm is there, and he's in his 40s or late 40s, and he's like that in the middle of a nightclub. That was us. That was me in my 20s. I just love that, and I feel sorry for the young generation.
I feel really sorry for them. They missed out on loads. Yeah, I mean Cork. But even I was probably like, so I'm 10 years younger than Joe. So my 20s were obviously 10 years later, and I remember like you could go out on a Tuesday night and you'd have a choice of nights. And Reds was opened, and it wasn't just like chart DJs, with like hip hop nights. You'd have like, I remember like Sinead Murphy and Hillary Rose DJing up in Reds, like, and just...
I forgot that Hillary Rose used to DJ.
There was Sinead, Emer, there was all those...
You had like the classic, and...
You had Hi-Fi on a Tuesday where...
Hi-Fi, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, it was Hi-Fi on a Tuesday. And there was like, think of it, Freak Scene was probably on a Wednesday, if that was your thing, but there was something else. And there definitely was a lot of choice. I mean, back in the mid-90s, we were doing more disco from 95 to 99, and I mean, we'd have 400 or 500 people on a Tuesday. It was like £3 in, and I mean, it's funny.
And ladies would get in free sometimes.
No,
do you know what I mean?
No,
that used to be the case in Mallow. There was like 3 nightclubs in Mallow.
Well, of course it would be in Mallow.
Just to try and get any lady in the door.
Yeah, sure. It's like Joe Clark, who he used to run stuff back in the day. He's still involved in music and all that. He he had the Trinity rooms,
yeah.
but he manages 2 Johnnies. But like back in the day, what was he doing? He was saying that, do you know what was the bane of the kind of Mallow and all these places was MDF. He says with the invention of MDF, now these places you'd have Xanadu's in Longford, and you go up and it'd be like some Disneyland thing cut out of MDF and just totally over the top kind of clubs, and they're all gone.
Yeah, they're all gone. The Highland has stood the test of time. The one it's in Newmarket, and people still get into buses in Mallow and fucking.
If there's a gig on, is there?
They run still. They still run like a nightclub there. Yeah,
really?
they still
Do they?
You don't really hear of it, like.
Wow.
But it's just young, like it's kids now, like you know, it's just like teenagers. I don't think they do the late one, but like growing up, it was a massive one. But that concludes trending. Oh, go on.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say
trending topics.
There you go.
Wow.
Like I was just going to say, I was thinking about this recently with regard to Savoy, obviously, but like it's amazing that like there has been, now we've had a lull for 10 years, but I think clubs got to the point of, like, I remember coming to Cork in 88, right, and literally Greg and Shane started in Henry's that September, and I got here right then. And anyway, you go in and it built up so quickly, whatever. And then, like, if you think from 88 to maybe 2000 was their height, you know, the Greg and Shane, and still, you know, obviously great DJs now and still doing all that, but effectively their reign in Henry's. And then the generation that came after that and after that. And I just think, you know, partially, and this is something that we want to do in the Savoys, kind of rearrange this a bit, is just go that clubs got so predictable. You know what I mean? You go in and it's 4 to the floor and quite generic. A lot of the music had got very generic, and where's the mystery? And you know, the good thing and the interesting thing for, you know, I think both and Keelan, you know, as point of view is, you know, I was saying I was on talking to 96 FM the other day, and I mentioned that Keelan, when he ran Quarter Block with Ashling and a few other people, had put CMAT on, and she played in the roundie to 3 people. You know what I mean? And people find that hard to believe, and you go, what's really important is you're part of the stepping stone. Do you know that actually, that you go, we want the Savoy to launch really good new bands, have international bands, and continue that legacy of good, you know,
I'm booking
good
all the roundy
DJs.
stuff now.
Yeah.
So if you want to do, like, literally all the roundy stuff, I'm booking it all now.
Oh,
so
great,
if you have stuff like that and that you want to do, like I'm doing music on Mondays and Tuesdays at the moment, because that's literally what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to start like the early weeks, early days in the weeks for artists who are trying to get stage time to, you know, launch an album, or, you know, maybe get down to Cork from wherever they are to their own fan base, that they have a room to do it.
Yeah. Need those rooms.
You need those rooms. You need them all over the place. I had a question. You were saying something there, and it was in my head now, but it's after going. But we have to move on anyway. So that concludes trending topics with Cornelius Special.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Now this we're into the hard hitting segment of the podcast now, guys. So please, any question I give you, don't hold. Look, I have to do my job.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I don't want
That's
you to be
fine.
kind of holding any grudges afterwards.
Not at all.
There's a bit of a love story between the two of you. How'd you meet? That's the first question. What's the love
Do you
story?
remember? I remember.
Do you remember?
I do remember. I remember.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember the day. I remember the actual day I met.
Do you remember what he was
Well, I
wearing?
wouldn't
I don't remember what. No, but I remember the whole vibe. I remember chatting. I remember everything. So
Great.
I'd been putting on shows in Cork for. What do you? So PAV was. I'm trying to think now.
PAV was
early
2008.
So it was around 2008. I'd say. It was the first year of the PAV. Definitely, I'd say so. Yeah. So like I've been putting on shows in Cork since maybe 2003. Started, kind of dropped out of college, and
What were you studying in college?
not much, to be honest. I was studying. I had done like a very bad leaving cert, and then I went to Stefan Nefa and did multimedia, which was a course that my mother signed me up for when I was living in Germany for a summer. I had no interest in school, college, didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's grand. So did that for a year, great, loved it, had a laugh, and then I think went on to do a second year in St. John's College did not like it at all, and just ended up like a load of buddies who were DJs and stuff, and kind of just partying in the city. Really, was living in the city and
being young and free, and
happy. And I don't think I told my parents for about 5 months that I dropped out of college. I think was I living in College Road? I probably was then with a few lads from school still. And then I suppose because I wasn't in college, started going out more and had a few buddies who were DJs. And then I think 2003 just said, we'll put on a night. And funnily enough, the first night I ever did was in FX. And it was actually a few of my buddies playing with Justin Robertson, techno DJ from way back in the day, maybe in the Savoy at some point, still a very good DJ. And loved it, and just went from there, and then had some really shitty nights, some great nights, and then over the years, was getting into kind of do more gigs, like doing hip hop stuff in Fast Eddie's, and put on fellas like Qbert and different shows like that. And actually, there was loads of shows. I mean, like you forget half of them until
they all blend into one, don't they?
Blend into one, yeah. But those days now were the early days, and you kind of remember them a bit better because you were probably you were either barely breaking even, or you were losing your hold on the show, which still happens sometimes, And anyway, the PAV had opened, and I think I got on to Stevie G and said, what's the story? Because I knew Stevie was involved. I said, what's the story doing shows in the PAV? And he said, come in to meet Joe. And I remember meeting him downstairs in the bar. And he was like, sit down there. Do you want some food or whatever, And took a picture of me straight away. Took a picture of me for his phone. And he was like, this still happens, Joe. He gets amazed by technology sometimes. Like, do you see that? Do you see the way that happens now? Isn't that brilliant? And like, he took a picture of my phone, and then he showed me the picture of me on his phone, and he saved it. That's your contact there now. Save my number. And then like, I'd say for about 2 years after that, every time I rang him, I was like, that's great. Every time you ring, I see your face. He's chatting away. And that was it. We sat it down and started talking about gigs, and Joe was being his usual Joe self, like just like really into it, really into doing something new, passionate, like very excited. I was kind of like, this is great. And then I think the next time I met you was in Bullies with Art, possibly. Next time after that. I do remember the first show I did in the PAV was an absolute disaster. And you covered the whole thing, because Joe, I was just promoter, just bopping around, putting on shows. It was Jack Hoosie. Do you remember them? They were like on B-Pitch label.
Really good.
German Berlin label. Berlin, but really good. Kind of reggae, electro reggae.
Really good.
But we got about 30 people. Like, it was just awful. So one of those soul-destroying ones where you're standing there at the side going,
do you know the mad thing? And I'm sure you've the same in the comedy world, is that's the irony being, it's sometimes they can be the best gigs. Like in the PAV, we had this guy, Per Ubu, who'd be pre-punk, right? It was amazing. 54 people lost our complete holds on it. And you were just like, geez, and we were getting near the end of the PAV, and it was just like, that's all you need.
That's not what you need.
Roy Ayers as well. I remember one Christmas, 110 people to Roy Ayers in the PAV, and you were there going, oh my God.
And you think Christmas with him, you'd be a fairly safe bet, like.
Unbelievable.
It's do you know, that's lovely. And as you were describing it, what I loved is, like, you lost your hole in the first one, right? And you're running the path, but you still didn't mind, because you knew what he was doing was great.
Yeah, he's funded the whole thing. He covered it all.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and got you back, and now you're partners. And like, there's I love that loyalty, right? That's a lovely thing, and it's very rare in life. And it just, a memory just popped into my head, because when I met you first, I opened for Cahoots.
In St. Luke's?
In St. Luke's. You did a gig.
Oh, the River Lee Hotel.
The River Lee Hotel.
The Lookout. Oh, yeah.
And Joe, you came over to me afterwards. That was great. It was great. What else do you do? And I was like, like trying to pimp myself out, and went away anyway, did my own thing. And a couple of weeks later, I died on my hole in a comedy club called City Limits here in Cork, right? Yeah. I mean, terrible. Like, I wanted, if I could spontaneously combust immediately afterwards, I would have. It was one of those really terrible ones. And it was back in the day when you'd have Facebook and you'd put up your feelings on Facebook, like, so, and I think I took a picture of chips or something like that. This is like, these are my chips tonight. They're salty from the tears of my sadness, or some shit like that.
Beautiful, poetic.
And you sent me a message going, what are you doing on the 14th of something or whatever? And I was like, I don't know. He goes, are you available for a gig? And I had a wedding, right? And I said, I have a wedding. And you were like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. And then I said, what is it? Do you want to open for Blind Boy in the Cork Opera House, right? Or for the Rubber Bandits in the Cork Opera House? And I was like, I do, and I'll miss that wedding. And
would have been Blind Boy, I'd say.
It was the Rubber Bandits.
In the Opera House?
Yeah, and I have a photo and I'll show you afterwards. The two of them were there. And I went out before the two of them. And Willie O'DJ was there with the heads. The two of them were in the back dressing room.
Yeah, in the Opera House. Yeah,
and they had, in Cork Opera House.
I don't know about that.
I put €1,000.
No, I don't. When people are that sure about a bet now, I am backing off. So I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times.
Can you remember the gig?
Not really.
Was it the main room?
We did.
Because I had never done a big room ever prior to this. This was the first time.
Was it stand up or sit down?
So it was stand up comedy. And
but stand up as in were the seats out in the Opera House? Can you remember?
No, they were all sitting down.
Sitting down?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were all sitting down. No, they stood up obviously when the Rubber Band. Like I went out to the audience for the second half, to watch it. I got a photograph with them backstage and everything, so I have the photograph. Wow. I'm going to fucking put that photograph on a reel now.
Yeah, I want to see that. I do want to see that. I'm just curious. I don't have any recollection of that.
Like everyone's aware of Blind Boy, what he's done for, we obviously have him, but he's actually in Cork Opera House in a few weeks for the podcast festival.
Shout out to Cork Podcast Festival.
For Cork Podcast Festival. But it's interesting, the other half, who formerly was known as Mr. Chrome, so you had Blind Boy Boat Club. Mr. Chrome now is called Bobby Fingers. And he does this, he's singing.
Is that who Bobby Fingers is?
Yes. Yeah. And Bobby Fingers, you got to check out. If anyone's looking at this, please, you want to see the maddest 25 minutes you're ever going to see. On YouTube, go Bobby Fingers, Jeff Bezos. And it's this... I don't know. It's just the maddest. It's him making a boat out of Jeff Bezos' head, but you got to see it.
He played Dolan's. Bobby Fingers played Dolan's there recently, and I was like, "Oh my god, that sounds like Blind Boy."
He was in the Kino for Sounds of Safe Harbour as well. I don't know what he was doing because we were up in St. Luke's.
Whatever it is about that Limerick accent, it is unbelievable when they're rapping. It's just, it really suits it. All right, that's the first question done, and I did fucking open for the Rubber Bandits in the car.
I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just wondering, was it actually the Opera House? Yeah.
These cunts booked me.
No, I know you supported.
We had you in there for one of the podcasts as well. And I think, did you open for him? You were definitely doing Usher microphone
for
one
Blind
time.
Boy, yeah.
But there was another time,
and I did my podcast for you in the Cork Podcast Festival.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, to be continued. No, get out that further.
Explain. So the next question, what I like now, right? Explain to me, right, what it's like to run. I did gigs for you in the Kino now as well after lockdown. If you've got let's say now, right, in 3 months' time, you've got someone in the Savoy. What goes into running an event? Like everything from, start to finish, staff, green rooms, what's the highs, what's the lows, what can you do without?
I'm getting anxiety here now with you talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, look, from a distance, like Nancy Griffith, kind of from a distance, but from a distance, from a distance, but when you start, you book the band, right? So technically you're booking the band. Then the tickets have to be, you launch the gig, which is a process in itself, whereby you put it out, tickets for sale 2 days later, blah, blah, blah. Then there's the next part, which is called...
You have to have the venue first.
Well, you have to have the venue first. Yeah, well, obviously, venue, that would come before booking. But
not always. Not always.
Yeah, true that. You can't always. But it's getting easier if you have two places. But and then there's what you call advancing, which is saying, oh, we're bringing this. Sometimes you might have to book hotels and this, that, and the other. Yeah. There's always what you're trying to do is iron out all the stuff so when they arrive, there's no surprises.
Smooth.
Do you know what I mean? So
come in and play.
And I mean, it's not that you get brown M&Ms only in the rider, but bigger bands. I remember we were doing Father John Misty in the City Hall, and it was just bonkers.
For people who don't know, a rider, that's just like what...
The rider's list of, I wouldn't say demands now, but it's a list of what they like in the dressing room, what they like in the fridge, what they want for how they want the meals to be done, whether it's lunch, dinner, whether they want you to order in food or give them cash for a buyout, like per diem.
Yeah.
So the riders, basically you've technical riders and hospitality riders, and technical riders, the gear they need to do the show with, and hospitality is what they want to be hosted with, which is absolutely perfect. Because I mean, if you're a touring band and you're going from one place, traveling by bus overnight, going to the next venue, you know, you want to just rock in, and if you're having breakfast, you're having your breakfast. Or if you need a shower, have your shower. You just want to be in and not go, where's this, or where do I find that, or is there any...
And that's from their end, the tour manager is doing. So technically the band, once you have a normal enough size, to be fair, their job is to be on the stage, and they got to do the sound check. And other than doing interviews and whatever, they should really be blanking out and be allowed to be metaphorically blonde, so to speak, and just be like in the zone, and they just flow. Flow state. Is that a new
flow state? That's but you know,
right now.
It's interesting you say that about the writer and stuff like that, because I was talking to you on the phone during the week about green rooms and all over the country in different types of venues, from like pubs and clubs to like, you know, really cool old venues and theatres and stuff like that, and the differences in the hospitality from place to place is absolutely mind-blowing.
I can believe it.
I give you an example. I'm only going to give you an example of something good, because I don't want to say anything negative, right? So I'm going to shout out to the Barras in Clonakilty, all right? So shout out to Ray and the Barras.
Shout out to Ray,
a gentleman and a scholar, right?
Absolutely.
So I did my very first, so I've opened up down there for Des Bishop, Deirdre O'Kane, Chris Kent loads of times, and it's always been the same, right? He just looks after everyone. You go down, there's food, there's a hot food there. Big pot of curry. Sandwiches, meats and cheeses. Do you want a drink? Would you like a pint? Whatever. You know, absolutely fantastic. Here's a little green room for you, so you can be away from the maddening crowd. And it's only small, and I'd say I was speculating, like he's got one of these slow cookers, and I'd say he might spend 40 to 50 euro, you know, just establishing that.
A little old meal, for
everyone that comes in.
You're welcome.
And I went there with my very first tour show 3 years ago, and I didn't sell well down there. I only sold like about 49 or 50 tickets, something like that.
That's not bad in that room, though.
But it was still okay for the room now, and it was a great show, and it was brilliant, and I really enjoyed it. But there was no difference in the hospitality.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which I thought was so cool.
Yeah.
And then I went back this year, and I had a really big crowd in, thanks be to God. And I brought 2 lads with me who were opening up, who'd never opened up before. And it was their first experience of it. And I could just see in their eyes, they were like, oh, look at this. Is this the way it is all over the place? If this is this, what's it going to be like in here? And the reality is that it's shit most places. And for bands and for artists that are floating around into these places, they'll always want to go to the place where you've looked after them.
That's true. I agree.
There is, you know, there's many places around the countryside. Like, you know, we'll mention Joe and Carlin down in Levis's, you know. And I mean, it does touch on something. I don't mean the mom pop or the husband-wife thing, but that family approach to venues and businesses, and saying everyone deserves, you know, the same treatment. And, you know, it is what we as a nation have been known for years, hospitality. And sometimes, you know, we can forget that. I mean, you know, without saying, I mean, in other words, you to the best of your ability have to, you know, make the experience. But that's the whole experience of the night. Like in St. Luke's, we do pride ourselves that we've great people working with us. You know, like Judith and Jim and people like this who almost welcome people in, and then when people are leaving, saying thank you very much. And it's all simple stuff, but it's, you know, going back to what do you do when you're booking a band? It is all that communication, being nice, you know, and making sure. And we found, I remember years ago, we had this act, and so I'm not going to say who it was, but he was in the pavilion, and we heard he's very difficult. But we did everything that was asked on the rider and all the bits and everything, and he was a perfect gentleman, and there was no problem. So what that said to me was, that guy is a real professional. He tells you in advance what they expect. And, you know, don't be pissing around, do it in a good way, because you're going to get a better show. Because ultimately that's the name of the game, that you want to give them the license to perform 100%. That's the trade-off.
By just following the instructions that you're sent before the show.
These are the jobs, do those and I'll do my job.
It's quite simple a lot of the time.
But like what you're saying, that doesn't happen all the time. And sometimes,
so rare, Joe.
Sometimes you kind of find that I don't know how you say this. Like, I'm not trying to be negative, but like they're. I do think, getting back to, I don't mind throwing the Savoy, but I think what both myself, Ed and Keelan, because I was thinking about this in last week, what is it you want to be? You know what I mean, as a venue? Do you know what I mean? And almost like where we started, in a musical legacy, that's easy to say. But like things that if you look back on when you were working in bars with Cleavers or any of us worked in places back in the day, there was the community spirit, the other thing which isn't said about clubs are the regularity of, you mentioned going out on a Tuesday night or Wednesday, which is gone now.
Thursday.
Is that really because there was no phones in any of these? But that if you were meeting your buddy, because you didn't have, well, maybe he did in your day, but we didn't.
No.
And you'd go, he'll either be in the Donkey's Ears, or could be Isaac Bell's, or could be, certain bars around the city, and you'd find the person, you know what I mean? Or, you'd always hear in our parents' time, I'll meet you outside the Queen's Old Castle, or I'll meet you outside Cashie's, But like I know from Henry's, and I was the front, I did the main room on Fridays from 92 to 95. But I worked in the building from 1990, and you just saw that every week, the people that were into what I was doing, a New Age, you know what I mean, which was the Friday night. Good name, wasn't it? A New Age.
The name.
But anyway.
Well, it probably wasn't.
No, that wasn't. I didn't think that was, but that was
Is it on now on a Friday, Joe? I don't think so.
But the point was, Greg and Shane, who were on Thursdays, Saturdays with Donkey Man and Stevie down the back, they had a thing. And then Fridays was me, I was DJ Egg, and then there was Fork, who sadly is not with us, so we were Egg and Fork. But he'd be playing kind of big beat in this thing. So it's actually, but the point I'm getting at is that people came back every week, and there was that community thing, and you see it in good bars, you see it in good restaurants, you see it round town, that any of the businesses that you go into, that there's really nice people and there's a buzz, where there's call-ins, anywhere you mentioned the bars, I'm sure the staff are lovely, right across wherever it is, Farmgate in town, there's so many good places that you go that there's really nice people working there. You're kind of saying we want a bit of that and create our own version, and hopefully have people that are really interested in music, working with us as well and all that kind of stuff. So
amazing, absolutely amazing. Question 3 of 5.
Wow.
Hard-hitting episode here, lads. The Savoy. Now, you stole a lot of my thunder earlier on.
Sorry.
All right. The Savoy. Iconic. Originally a cinema.
Correct.
Opened its doors back in 1932.
Correct.
Eventually becoming one of Ireland's leading music venues, hosting the likes of Count John McCormack.
Correct.
The Rolling Stones, which is amazing. Damon Albarn, Run DMC, amongst many, many, many more. The Smiths, obviously, I didn't know that. Twice. That's amazing. What is the plan? How excited are ye? Off you go. So I know you're opening on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's night.
Like, I mean,
that's it. Opening night. Yeah.
Like, what's the broad plan? I know you're not going to give me specific dates. You're probably still booking stuff and all that kind of carry on.
Good few things getting booked in now. It's coming fast, to be honest. Like a lot of inquiries, a lot of stuff getting booked in. Like the program for the year is going to be impressive, I think.
Unreal.
Very excited about it. Excited to get into like a place that has loads of history like that, but there's just the way it's been done now, it feels new. When you go in there, it's going to feel different. It's going to look great. It's going to, like, the sound is probably the number one thing we're doing at the moment. Like, the sound is going to be impeccable. We always kind of go for the wow factor, so we want people to walk in there and go, wow. St. Luke's is a wow when you walk in the door if you've never been there before,
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, so the plan is, look, we've great opening night with Spanish guitar duo Zorrito, kind of like very high energy, proper
like Burrito with his
Z. Yeah, I keep telling him.
What are they called? Burrito with his Z.
And then Cork's Samba brass band, Bula Boom.
I was talking to Dara.
Yeah.
From Proc.
Yeah, that's right. He's leader of the pack. Yeah. So very excited about getting them in because they're fantastic. They don't do a huge amount of gigs during the year, so it's a bit of a coup getting them in for that night. And I think it's a great way to open. Like, we're trying to do all Cork. So like Lazaredo, they're living in Oyster Haven, can be in the county. The Lazaredo, the Oyster Haven, obviously the Bula Boom are Cork. Then we've got Stevie G and Angie from formerly More Disco, currently More Disco, should I say. They'll be finishing off the night. This is just in the main room. And then upstairs we've got the Leon Stacks Equation, isn't it? Yeah. Leon Stacks Equation, who are kind of sunken foal. Sunken soul.
Sunken foal.
Sunken foal.
Lads, if you like your sunken foal.
Funkin' Soul. Great.
They're kind of lounge funk. No, I think there's 6 people. They're really, really good.
They're
You
great,
know, one of those that...
Duffy
like actually,
Brothers.
they're on. They're from. Are they from Contain?
No, they're not. They're from Meath.
But
I know loads of
We've often got Meath people to play for Cork in the past.
But they've been living in Cork for a long time now and back and forth. And DJ Danilo then, who's a Brazilian DJ, and I think he'll start the night in there, to be honest. We're going to do it in reverse, you know. So we'll have like bands on first in the main room and then DJs to finish off, and DJ on first in the new room, the lounge, and that Leon Sax Equation to finish it off then.
2 rooms?
2 rooms, yeah.
What's the capacity of the big room?
Well, I mean, like about 450 on the floor, I'd say, you know.
Standing?
Standing, yeah, that's it. And then upstairs, about probably another 150 standing in the lounge, we're calling it now, which is...
the old foyer.
The old foyer.
Yeah.
So you used to walk, because the stairs are now gone from Patrick Street.
I can't wait to see it.
I know, it's good. It's like, I mean, it's kind of the same, but it's quite different from your perspective when you go in. You're kind of going to be a bit disoriented.
You're coming in on the main floor.
Yeah.
And then you're going up to what
and then
was
you go
the
upstairs
foyer.
to the foyer.
And the foyer was always, even 25 years ago, it was always a lovely room, but the problem was it was a corridor. And there was just traffic coming at you from so they would never got a chance. Like, even back in my day, we used it as a room too. It never really worked. Like, I remember actually... No. Des Bishop being there he was a rapper before he became a comedian. Him rapping there at a primetime event, and we were going, and even Des was like, "I was kind of shit, wasn't I?" It was like, no, you've got something going on there. You've got something going on. But now because ironically those doors you come up the stairs are blocked off.
Stage.
Both the fire officer and we wanted it anyway, which was build a stage there. You know, you have to cut up.
It was put up a wall or just stop.
So it's just giving you another room.
It's a whole other venue, you know. It's somewhere. It's a small room where you could have like, you know, kind of like even like 60 to 100 or 150 people in there will feel really nice, and it's like it's just plush carpet, and you know, sound will be great in there too.
And sound will be great there as well.
Excellent, yeah.
Obviously, I'm always thinking just from a stand-up point of view, and I know you're 90% music promoters, but you have done comedy.
Yeah, I've done, of course, yeah.
And so if you're looking at 400 standing and 150 standing in the small room, will there be seated events?
I don't know. Like we're kind of to and fro about that. Like because if you're doing upstairs, certainly I'd imagine we will be doing stuff upstairs. You know, but we want to make it kind of. I don't want to give too much away now. We'll keep that. But look, we want to change stuff upstairs, but downstairs you're really cutting back on your capacity. Do you know, like you're probably looking at maybe 200, 250 seats or something
so
like that.
So it's not financially viable then?
Well, it's just not really worth it, for a venue that size. I know. You know? But like St. Luke's is great for seated shows.
Exactly.
You know, and that'll still be cool.
Can 2 gigs coexist at the same time?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like almost that.
Jazz weekend about 7.
That's classic.
7 at the same time.
But it was funny, a friend of mine I was speaking to the other day, Cyril, who used to do stuff for years and still DJs in Galway, and he mentioned this, and I was like, actually, that's kind of what we're talking about, which was there's a club in Dublin, and we did it as well in the Half Moon. We had a thing called Cabaret Deluxe. And so you're kind of going, like, if you've a certain type of DJ in the main room or a certain type of band, well, what's the opposite to that almost that gives you, I don't mean respite, but just a different flavour.
But I know it's because if you ever go to Crane Lane, right, and I like Crane Lane, I think that sometimes Crane Lane do it really, really right. You can be in the 3 rooms in Crane Lane, and it's 3 totally different
3 different venues, 3 different vibes. Yeah, that's it.
And like that's an exciting thing to do as a punter. You're going here. I remember the first time that happened to me. I was with my friends in the front bar, and then I was looking for another friend.
You end up in this,
and I couldn't believe there was like, I think there was like it was actually kind of a calypso kind of Jamaican jazzy thing up in the main bar, and there was people just losing themselves dancing. And back in the bar I was, like, there was lads talking about a football match and a hurling match, and there was dates, and there was a kind of a DJ in another room, in the middle room. And I think that is always an interesting place to go to.
I love that. Yeah, but anywhere you can find like that, where, like, you know, you're going through the door, what's in here?
Yeah.
You know, like, especially if it's your first time there, and then if you're going back, I mean, I just love higgledy-piggledy places, you know.
Higgledy-piggledy,
I mean, some of the best, I think one of my favourite shows I ever did in Cork years ago, I always remember it because it was just like that now, it was but kind of reminds me of what we're going to be trying to do in the Savoy as well, and on certain nights is like I put on, there was a Snow Patrol DJ set, Gary Lightbody was coming over, and a few of the other band, and Bell and Sebastian as well. It was in Fast Eddie's, former Fast Eddie's, but like it was the whole, but Bell and Sebastian showed up, Gary Lightbody didn't show, no show, I don't know, I'm not sure. No
Gary
show
Bollocks.
due to snow or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But he didn't show up, so I had to sign up. But like, that actually wasn't even the main thing. It was the main thing that was getting people in the door. But like, we had every room in the venue, in the whole block open. So you had, like, I can't even remember the name of the bars. There was the Quad, then there was maybe the
It's Fast
Slate,
Eddie's. Were you
and then you had another one's upstairs.
Yeah.
So you had about 4 different rooms, and
I think
like you
it's
had
reopened again.
It has
The
reopened
Quad,
again,
the
yeah.
roof. It's a good space,
and you
yeah,
had like
upstairs.
Sangre Latino, Spanish band in one room.
Yeah.
Then you had like somebody playing folk in another one. Then you DJs upstairs, and then there was something else somewhere else. And you'd be going through place to place like that. Where's Me Culture gig you did in the Mardyke? Remember that?
Mardyke in
Similar to
2005.
that.
Our
That was great.
Telefunken, which we did in the Metropole back in the day, and it was like 1,200-1,400 people. But we had these guys at the time, they're the only guys in Ireland, this is back in, I don't know, mid-90s, and they were called the Light Insurgents. So like we had Angie and Tony Walsh in the main room, but we brought the guests to the middle room, which was kind of a smart idea in that we had all these Luke Vibert, King Brit, Unabombers, like loads of really interesting stuff for the 12 gigs we did there, you know. So, like, look, we've 2 rooms, so you get on with it. But basically, you just want, like, you know, I think the problem with single rooms is, you know, just there's no breathing space to just
variety is the spice of life, like. And I love that. I love that you can have 2 coexisting, completely different gigs on the same building at the same time. You know,
but you'll also have your like solid, your big actors playing in the main room. That's the thing that's on. Mightn't have anything up in the lounge, you know, like, but that's your bar, you know. So try and get people flowing up there. But I mean, they'll be like, I mean, look. It's a live music venue. It was a club before. It's going to be a live music venue now. That's why we're sticking to kind of regular hours, late night.
I wanted to talk to you about
time.
that actually. That's a big thing for you. That you know, you're not going to go for the late license.
No, we're not.
Per se.
I mean, look, licensing in Ireland is a pain in the arse, and it's not fit for purpose. And it's so far behind the rest of Europe whatever about the world. But like, it's not. You know, having to go into court and apply for a rake of licenses once a month.
I don't know how much it is, but it was when I finished like 400 quid a night. You get into all this, and you're kind of going, you're going back to, you know, staff get tired, certain things. It's like, look, just go out a bit earlier. Like, we've even noticed in the last few years, on a Sunday night, we had Nick Mulvey there for Sounds of Safe Harbour, just because the way it was scheduled, and we wanted to do it at that time, and it was like on stage at 6 o'clock.
5:30 doors,
and it was over by.
Oh, it was great! Everyone was delighted. Yeah,
do you know, especially on a Sunday when it's getting into winter, once it's dark in your head, it's dark. It's nighttime. You know what I mean? Even it could be 5:30, 6.
Yeah.
And then it's like, do you know what? You're getting out by 8. And even the few boys, the once or twice I went to Keelan played in Collins at that time, and go for 1 or 2 pints, you still got home for 9:30. It was
I know, it's amazing.
Lads, my wife has a saying, she go hard and go home. Like,
absolutely.
You know,
go hard and go home.
Like 3 or 4, like, do you know, I'm in my 40s, Noelle's in her 40s, you're in your 40s, wink,
No,
wink,
not.
you're in your 40s. Do you know, like, I have no interest in being out till 2 o'clock.
No.
I have no interest in it. If I'm out, it's usually like, even with stand-up gigs, like I'm finished on stage by 11 usually. Yeah, and the only time you'd be, you know, getting back in at 1:30, 2 o'clock is if you're gigging 2.5 hours away.
And interesting, like, it is post-COVID. I mean, you have to look at the positive things that happened, whereby if you come up to St. Luke's, and the weather's anyway decent, the seats outside Henchies are full first. And it's almost like, having to go inside is kind of not in the plan, right? So that changed. Then, as I say, the sliding rule of 4 hours. Remember, they went round, we're closing the bars at 10 o'clock, and everyone went, we'll go out at 7 o'clock.
Forget about some of the stuff.
And we're closing the bars at 8 o'clock. And it's like, fuck you, we'll go out at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, that was the interesting thing that I think now you decide. And as I said to someone recently, I said, look, one of the best clubs in the world is Body and Soul in New York, Joe Clausel, Francis Kerbaki and all these guys. It's on a Sunday from 12 noon to 12 at night. And so, we have to, in itself, and it's something we want to do definitely, is it's not so much redefine, but make it work that, look, if we're finished at a certain time, there's something on after us, knock yourself out. Yeah. You can get to go to 2 things. But when I was back in the PAV in the day, we thought, we'll stay open late night, blah, blah, blah. Sure, then people went, they're late night, and they turn up at 1 o'clock, and you're like, well, that was great. So
be sitting there looking at empty venue.
And then they're coming in langers as well. Then at that stage, racing all trouble.
Yeah.
Lovely, lads. 2 to go. Okay. If you could book someone, I'll start with you, Joe, this time, right? If you could book an artist to play in the Savoy, living or dead, and budget was not an issue,
of course.
Who would you book? Why would you book them? Discuss.
I know it's hard to pick one, isn't it?
Yeah. It is actually.
One.
I mean, no, because I went, there's a few kind of names because they're dead. You could go, geez, imagine seeing Bob Marley in a space like that.
Yeah.
Bob Marley. When I came to Cork first, dance music was only starting. And so you had guys with ghetto blasters, double denim, and it'd be like, they'd be literally grooving along the hard shows and they'd be listening to Bob Marley or UB40. So Bob Marley be pretty good. Then, even though I'm going to see him this summer with the kids, we're going to The Cure. So I'd go, Robert Smith in there, I'd take all day. And then I suppose maybe just in a Cork sense, I mean, I'm fascinated with the period and, it goes back to lineage and all that. And, when I came here in 88, I knew about Jimmy Barry Murphy and Sir Henry's, right? And through Sir Henry's, I knew about Belsonic Sound, Cypress Avenue, or not Cypress Avenue, Cypress Mine, the bands, Belsonic Sound, and what's the third? Burning Embers, right? So I had this picture of Cork. But when you go back, which is, 1979 to 81, across from the train station, the Arcadia, which became actually, we did a few gigs down there back in the day, but it was this period where The Cure played there, UB40, U2 played there loads of times, this lady Elvira Butler, and for a 2-year period, they were knocking it out of the park it was called Caught at the Campus, So to answer your question, who played at that, and I'd be buddies with, 3 of them, the 3 surviving members, but None Attacks with Donnelly being alive. I'd love to have seen Donnelly, who's the lead singer of None Attacks, just fascinates me.
None Attacks.
None, N-U-N.
N-U-N, Attacks.
And then A-T-T-A-X. So None Attacks were a Cork band from... Donnelly was interesting. I see his sister around St. Luke's. They had got burnt out in Northern Ireland. So there were Nordies that came to Cork and he was tough. You see pictures of him. He's intriguing character, And, there's many people who will tell tales, but he's an intriguing guy. But he just had this, Mick Lynch, who went on was originally at the Cottage campus, did an EP as well, or as a 6-tracker. But Mick Lynch, who's known in Cork as Mick the Punk, he was Stump. And if you haven't ever looked at Stump, Rob McCahey and Mick Lynch from Cork, and then there's 2 English guys, but they were a Cork band that were recording in Hansa Studios in Berlin. They were signed to proper labels. I mean, if you haven't looked up them, Stump.
None Attacks.
No, None Attacks was the first band.
Stump.
Stump. The Charlton Heston has his vest on. Have you ever heard that? Or there's,
No.
Yeah, but check out Stump, yeah.
I'm going to check out both those, but are you going to book, you've an unlimited budget now, I'd say these lads will be...
No, that's what we'd like to see.
The good price. But no, I just, that intrigues me, the Donnelly, as I say, the band like Philip and Smelly and Ricky are still still alive. I know everyone in Cork knows.
Amazing names.
Funny.
Smelly. If I told you the real name.
I've heard these names a few
I don't know any of these people, and I'm like, I want to know more.
But interesting, like they went to England and became, and Five go down to the sea, you know. But they were just. I mean, at that time, you had Mean Features and the other band, Micro Disney, came out. It was a fascinating time, of just that for 2 years in Cork. You know what I mean? That because you always think Henry's, and people think, when I was there, I was lucky enough to be there for the Sonic Youth Nirvana gig. People always think of Henry's and dance music and Nirvana.
That was the question I wanted to ask you. Were you there for the Nirvana gig?
I was, weirdly.
Did you meet Kurt Cobain?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I remember standing there with, he's a barrister called Mick Kelleher, and Mushy, my buddy, who's lives in Greece now. Three of us standing there with pint bottles of Bulmers, just observing the support band and just kind of, look at your man jumping around the place. Not really paying attention. I mean, we were actually there, but it wasn't like... I saw Jesus, but we were there and he was jumping around in front of us. We were there to see Sonic Youth. I mean, it is the learning lesson, which is always like, pay attention to the support band. Yeah. You never know who they might be in 6 months, a year's time.
Very true.
Hosier in the corner of the Pav bar. Two old fellas sitting at the bar.
What?
Hosier, the first time he played in Cork was when he was shooting the video for Take Me to Church. Brendan Canty, Feel Good Lost, Christy, the fellow who made Christy.
Great movie.
He was shooting that in Ballincollig with Hosier, and I think I'd actually been on to trying to. I don't know, was I trying to book him, but I think he texted you going, God, listen, this guy's unbelievable, you got to get him. He's like, yeah, sure, tell him come in and play in the bar. And he played in the corner of the bar, at the Pav bar, the old Pav bar, and there was two old fellas farting away at the top, sitting at the bar, and he's there singing Take Me to Church and the first few songs from the first album, and he played there again then recently, not long after that then was his first Irish tour, and
we booked him, because I spoke to you the next day, and I was like, incredible, Jesus Christ, I was like, that guy. I said to Brendan Canty, I said, he's going to be on Jules Holland within the year.
Oh, he was. Sure, he was in America.
And he was, but it was just like, it was amazing. And luckily I've seen it a few times. I mean, back in the day, we did 3 years of It Takes a Village in Trabolgan, and I was saying to Ed, this band at the time, they had 5 songs, Fontaines. I was like, they're going to be fucking huge. Like, you could tell.
We didn't have them at It Takes a Village now.
No, we didn't, but we tried to get them.
Yeah.
And like, they were, by today's standards, obviously what they got now, but like, they were very, they were an upcoming band.
I mean, like Mary Wallopers.
Mary Wallopers.
A few times.
Well, we had them first time as It Takes a Village, and like,
because they were in TPM, so they were a hip hop band. Yeah. They were hip hoppers. Have you never listened to TPM?
No.
Oh, you should.
You got to listen to them.
They're absolutely.
I need to listen to more new music. Even on the way up now, I was listening to.
No, you love TPM.
This is old now. Probably this band. I don't know what TPM come back, but they're fantastic.
Like, they're just so funny.
They
like,
said
even
to us,
videos.
they said, oh, we've got this little kind of trad folk thing we do as well, but we'd have to bring our buddy Sean, we need to bring Sean as well, so we need 150 quid for it. And we're like, fuck it, yeah, grand, come on. And they played inside in one of the houses to about 30 people, the 3 lads, the original 3, like.
That's a serious scale.
There's a few of them.
Yeah.
There's a few of them now.
Yeah.
And I remember we had Keelan obviously put her on the roundy I mentioned, but when we were in the Kino, we did a night, and and they brought Aisling brought down. So C-Matt was, and her few buddies had this thing called Western Girls, and basically was they'd teach you line dancing, then they'd do country and western karaoke, and then a country and western disco.
In the Kino. Is this just
this
after
was in
COVID?
The Kino. This during COVID. It was in somewhere in the middle.
It was when you were doing like socially distanced gigs.
Because I did a gig for you there, and we could only get 50 in. Do you remember that? Was it one of those ones? I wonder.
Yeah, it was around that big. Yeah, I think maybe it had opened up again. But I remember meeting her, and I was like, that girl's a star. And she literally had only small bits up on Instagram at the time. But to be fair, and I mean, we did her for a number of times. I mean, obviously Keelan did her originally, but we did her for a number of times in St. Luke's, and we did a double gig in Cypress Avenue. But you know, in fairness, like that girl has worked.
Oh yeah,
like for the last 4 years, herself and her manager Barry and the whole band and blah blah blah. And like, you know, it's not by accident.
No, it's not.
Like,
it never really is by accident.
No, but
there's a lot of work goes on.
But you have to have a lot of luck, and a lot of work, a lot of work.
But if you were to see her calendar, like even the other day, it's like I remember when she was up in St. Luke's. And he was like, she'd done the sound check and her voice went, and we had to refund people
on the night.
And it was like, she wasn't like, the whole thing was set up, it was ready to go. It went, you know. And she's
gone, like,
But I remember talking to them before, and they had for the next month, 31 days, every day she was doing something.
Couldn't reschedule
it was like she was meeting, you know, she was meeting. But that level of, you know, so
planning,
fair play. That's the Jesus, like fair play. You need a manager as well, don't you? Like, you know, to do something like that.
To be fair, and we'll mention this, you know, with regard at the moment in Cork, I mean, you see a real resurgence. And I mean, I remember back in the mid-90s, or when the Franks and the Sultans, and, you know, there was Elemento Pelican and Emperors of Ice Cream and Ruby Horse, and there's lots of these Cork bands at time.
I had forgotten about Ruby Horse.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about the Sultans.
They're still going, yeah.
But you look at now, and the Cliffords there sold out the Opera House. We
City Hall.
We have, you know, the Cardinals are up in St. Luke's, but it's nearly sold out, so I don't know where we might move them. But, you know, might be moved even by the time this comes out. Who knows?
It could be, yeah.
But and they're a great Cork band, Pebble Dash, you know, then like Sam Healy. So the thing is that
Baby Rat. Shout out to Baby Rat.
Yeah.
Shout out Baby Rat.
And Keelan Sherlock on his own as Keelan Sherlock, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Keelan Sherlock. Joe, I'm going to have to push you, man. I'm going to have to push you. This is the longest answer to any question I've ever asked in my life.
Non-attack.
Non-attack.
With Donnelly. As in Donnelly, the original non-attacks.
Non-attacks. And they're the crowd that came down from the north. Am I right in saying that?
Well, no, he came down, but the rest of them are from Churchfield. But I
Google non-attacks tonight if you're listening to this.
I'll throw in another just for the crack.
Go on.
Sylvester.
They can open for them.
Sylvester.
Cat.
Yeah. No, he's
the cartoon.
Basically disco kind of icon, you know.
Yes, I heard him.
Make me feel mighty real. You know that?
Oh, yeah.
Sylvester. Better version. There you go. Okay, your go.
Tricky one. I've had lots of time to think of it now during your answer, thank God. I've been seesawing. I suppose, like, you should really give people two. You should give people two choices. You should really say.
Well,
I don't need two.
So you have 2 rooms, so
2 rooms. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So
you don't have to tell me which room.
Brian Wilson in the small room.
Okay.
Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys in the small room, because just what an enigma.
Did you ever book him before?
Not at all. Oh God, no. Way out of our league.
He was in Cork not that long. He was in Cork.
He might.
The last decade,
he probably was. Yeah, I missed
probably the Marquee. I think he played the Marquee.
But a band I've been trying to book for
such an album.
Years and years and years, and never managed to have seen loads of times, is Fat Freddy's Drop.
Oh, yeah.
Great band. Kiwi.
Kate used to bring him.
One of my best ever gigs was Fat Freddy's Drop in the Half Moon back at the Opera House in the city, I don't know, back in the noughties, some stage. Kate McLaughlin brought him over, and I remember like the trombone, ducking under the trombone as he was like bringing it out, you know. And they're like kind of, I don't know, acid jazz kind of reggae with a big brass section, but like high energy stuff. Really, I know I'm a huge fan, but I'd love to see their Kiwis, bands, But I'd love to see them in a full room, and I've been trying to get them to Cork ever since. To be honest, they haven't been back since then. They've played like Body and Soul. They've done the Olympia in Dublin.
Big now,
they'd be big now, yeah, but they're still well within our reach. Like, you know, so I'm still trying to get them to Cork in the next before we kick the bucket. So I'd love to see them.
They're 2 absolutely incredible answers, to be honest now, because like, you know, you'd have to be a real music nerd now to know your tune, like from back in the day. And like even what you're saying there, like, I mean, I was thinking you were going to say like, you know, U2 or like, you know, or like, you know,
I am more of a pop tart than Joe now, to be honest. Like, he's he knows the fucking history. Like, you ask Joe about a band, he'll tell you who their grandmother was and what she had for breakfast the morning she died, you know.
That's probably why you're at the top of your trade as well. That it's like, it's more than a job, like it's an obsession. It's something that you love, and you breathe in. And I wish you, I genuinely mean it, the fucking best of luck with it. Because I know I've been hanging around with you and doing a few bits and pieces with you over the last 5, 6, 7 years, and great guys to work with. The Good Room, follow The Good Room, guys. That's these guys here, and everything you do, whether it was Takes a Village, Live at St. Luke's, the Cork Podcast Festival, it's always top class. It's always top class.
Thanks very
much. And it's always super well done. And you're Cork as well, so support Cork, lads, support Cork, support the boys, and go to the Savoy.
T23.
T23.
You're T12.
T12, yeah.
T23 for forever. Northside.
Northside, Southside. It can work.
It can work, guys. Look at this. Look at this here. I have one final question, and Ed, I'll start with you this time, right? Unfortunately, I'm very sorry to let you know that you have been convicted of a crime you did not commit, and you are being sentenced to death, and that is actually happening tomorrow. However, the jailer's taking pity on you, and normally you get a last meal, but this guy's going to give you a starter, a main course, and a finisher.
Ooh, very nice.
What do you have?
Okay.
And you get a drink with
it. And a drink with it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's
fine. And a different drink for each meal as well.
Really? For each course? Okay, lovely.
He really likes you.
Right.
He's disappointed that you're going to be dead tomorrow.
For a starter. I don't. Main course anyway, I think a really good, it's not something I would eat a lot or something I would order in a restaurant, but if the option to have a really good fillet steak cooked rare to medium, little peppercorn sauce on the side, few other little accoutrements, maybe some like potato gratin, garlic potatoes, maybe 3 different types of potatoes next to it, and like
everyone who I asked this question
some veg. I'm getting hungry now. Yeah, there's definitely spuds. But something like that for the main course, where you're just kind of adding little. I love sauce. It's sauces. If I was a chef, it'd be the saucier, but like have loads of little sauces and stuff around with the steak. Maybe garlic butter, as well as the peppercorn party time.
Weirdly, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. So it's going to go.
Starter, like I'd say maybe some kind of like prawn thing, maybe like prawn pilpul. Maybe even like go as far as like a good prawn cocktail. I know it's boring, but like there's nothing I really enjoy.
Do you like a prawn cocktail?
I've
never had one.
I do like prawns. Yeah.
Prawns for me, it's the eyes with the prawns.
Like. No eyes. I wouldn't eat the eyes now. I'd just have the tail.
Can you eat the eyes?
I'm sure you could eat anything.
No one does.
I wouldn't.
No one does.
No one does.
No, you don't
eat the head.
Body. No.
And the shell, you don't eat the shell or anything.
It's just the meat inside, obviously.
Yes.
I've never
Mr. Bean now with the prawns, eating the whole prawns.
And what will you have then to sweeten yourself?
I have a very sweet tooth. I'd nearly say a tub of Ben and Jerry's fish food ice cream, I'd pound one of those, no problem for you, sitting right here. Big fan of that. Or like a Knickerbocker Glory, or something like a big kind of fancy ice cream, again with sauces, like maybe like honeycomb popcorn, so like honey popcorn, like lots of little bits in it, and just kind of.
I'm starving.
Me too, yeah. It's
that's
unreal.
Fucking good meal. Bar the prawns now. I'm going to go with the. I would definitely
prawns, pilpul, garlic prawns or something like. It doesn't have to.
I must try them because I'm always given.
Do you ever have prawns? No,
I've never had them, and I'm giving them a lot of grief on this podcast over the last couple of weeks.
Prawns are nice.
People have said prawns a few times, and I'm like,
do you like fish?
I like salmon. A bit of cod, maybe. Sometimes I like battered cod, but salmon would be the only kind of fish that I'd.
Vanilla with the fish, so prawns be.
Yeah. Is it very fishy?
No, it's not actually. No. It's a lovely texture.
Yeah.
I think shellfish. I'm not mad about swimmy fish, but like shellfish, most of it I like. Like I wouldn't. Not oysters, weirdly, but
what are shellfish?
Like clams. Clams, mussels. Crab,
mollusks, stores of mollusks,
crab, lobster. I always growing up,
okay.
I would have rather
lobster's
crab.
like prawn. Prawn's like lobster, but not as nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And small lobsters.
They're small. That's I suppose that's what they fucking are.
They're not.
I've been giving them a lot of shit on this podcast anyway, and I apologise to you.
If you like lobster, you like prawns.
Yeah.
I'd say,
I don't mind it. And the thing with what did you say there a minute ago? You were saying.
Fucking now I'm thinking I should have added lobster to the surf and turf.
Scallops. Sorry, I was thinking of scallops. Oh God,
they're just
beautiful.
like fucking.
Scallops are lovely. Yeah.
They're too cummy for me. They're too cummy for me.
Yeah. They're cooked properly.
I've never gone down that road.
Yeah, Joe, I've heard stories. All right. But they're a bit. I don't know.
No, they're oysters. That's oysters.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking
scallops are like the little. Are the kind of ones
the oysters are a bit.
They are a bit slurpy.
I find them a bit salty, but
oysters.
They are quite sexual. Fucking sex abilities.
The action.
True that.
I need to get on them because I'm only fair to Middleton.
Fair to Middleton.
Fair to Middleton. Tell me your beverages for to wash these down now.
Well, I'd say, do you know what? I'm going to go prawn pilpil to start with, and I'd have a pint of Beamish with that. I'd love that now. Prawn pilpil, pint of Beamish, lovely. And then I'd have a nice glass of red wine, nice glass like an Italian red wine, maybe a Montepulciano, d'Abruzzo, or whatever it's called. Something. I'm not fancy about wines, but I do like those ones.
Red is my favourite as well. I always feel decadent when I'm drinking red.
Red
for
with
some
steak,
reason.
yeah.
And you have another drink if you want. You can have a...
With the dessert era, old coffee maybe. With the dessert, if it's my last meal, sure, why not? Yeah, it's not going to keep me up. It's not going to keep me up.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Oh, that's like the outro music.
Yeah. Was that your fault? It's all right. Don't worry about it. What are you having for your last treat, Joe? Starter, main, dessert.
I suppose, do you know what? Even though I wouldn't ever have it like this, feck it, do you know what I mean? You're dying, like, so.
Yeah.
I'd go, if it was like a really, really good seafood chowder, I do like.
Yeah.
I also would possibly go for the steak, but seeing that Ed has, I'd be like, but there's nothing better than a really good Carvery roast beef if it's really, really, really good.
With the Yorkshires.
Yeah, the Yorkshires.
All the accoutrement.
Yeah, all the accoutrement.
Yeah.
As for dessert,
parsnip and carrot.
I can't really think. Oh, carrot, carrot, turnip, you name it.
You'd have to turnip. This is your last meal and you're going for turnip. You're some sort of a psycho.
For the book.
No, but definitely you'd have, I suppose, would you have turnip? You probably don't. The one I go to up in the barn, they have, cheesy cauliflower.
Oh, yeah.
And like carrots and peas and, horseradish, gravy.
Nice.
I like
Gravy's
horseradish,
I never got into the horseradish.
And then as for the dessert, Jesus, I have no idea. I don't.
Not a very sweet tooth.
Well, it's not that, but I don't know. I just can't think of anything. But drink, I'll say this just because I kind of miss it. Even though I don't weirdly drink and eat, I don't know what it is. I can't do both, and I don't drink wine. But just for the props, they've since closed down. But I live in Mayfield, and we had the Cotton Bowl there, the bar, but they had a brewery, and like their stuff was incredibly good, So I used to drink what was called Kerry Lane, a pint of Kerry Lane,
okay.
So that would be, and then seeing that we're on the Cork tip, I would say if I was having a gin and tonic, I must say Maharani. From Made in the Marina. So Rob and Bagya, they're a Cork company, Maharani Gin. If you haven't heard of this, basically Rob was a distiller for years. Bagya is from what's the name of the west side of India.
Rajasthan? No.
Can't remember.
Kerala.
Yeah. There you go, Kerala. And so there's a women's co-op, and they take the botanicals from there, and they make this. If you haven't seen it, it's supposed to be, I'm not into gin per se, but I must say it's beautiful gin, Maharani gin, and it's made down the docks in Cork, and you can get it in most places.
Are you going to have that with your Carvery?
Well, no, I would have that now, gin and tonic. I don't know where my tonic... I don't know who we'd get to. Elderflower.
I do like an elderflower. Do you know I had a gin and tonic at that gig that I remember we did gigs out in, what's the name of that bar in Watergrass Hill? Is it Watergrass Hill?
Manny's.
Yeah. And I remember having a gin with elderflower tonic out there.
Yeah, very nice.
It's a bigger bottle.
Is it?
It's in the well, it was that night anyway, And you're not going to have any sweet then, John or Joe?
I can't think of anything.
An ice cream, bar of chocolate.
Yeah,
you're gone in the morning.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
An ice cream.
Yeah.
A 99.
Have an ice cream. Oh. Yeah.
Why not?
2 flakes for Joe as well, lads.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to say thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks very
sincerely.
much. Thank you.
And please follow these guys, the Good Room, the Savoy. This is going to be the place to go out in Cork City from February 14th
forever.
till the day the planet ends. All right. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams, staying by the wall. Thank you.